You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, This Week. Featuring news and commentary on This Week in Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live This Week, Dario Kristen.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live This Week. I'm your host, Dario Kristen, and here joining me in the studio is Courtney Stewart.
What's up, everybody?
And the dancing DJ, Jesse J. What's up? On today's show.
You're getting Christmas spirit.
I'm getting into the holiday spirit, don't you like it? I got my red Santa Claus, you know what I'm saying?
Kinda, but then you got black trim.
A little black trim. I had to,
Dark.
Make it dark for Black Hollywood Live. All right, on today's show, we're going to cover a variety of different topics, including Eddie Murphy is returning for Beverly Hills Cop 4. Obama's selfie gets him in trouble. I don't even understand the big deal about this. And then Al Sharpton has started a Bill of Rights for all the racial profiling that's going on at department stores.
And Beyonce released an album.
Yes, and Beyonce released an album. That's big.
Hello.
That's
I mean, that's
big.
what we should just spend
That's
the next
like at the
40
top of the
minutes
show.
talking
All right,
about.
I mean,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's
You know what I'm
exciting news. I feel like Beyonce's always released
You
an
know what
album.
I'm saying?
And he was on honest. He was like, yes, okay, and
Yes,
moving
okay,
on.
and
Yeah, you know
yes.
what? Let me tell you guys something at home. Daryl be calling me, like, if he hears a song of the week, like, Jesse, I'm so excited to hear this. I was, like, really hypey last night. And I was
You
like,
were hyped.
Daryl, Beyonce released an album. He was like, yeah. I was like,
I mean, I
There's
love
no
Beyonce,
time.
but I mean, you know, she
There's
always releases
no-
an album or a video. I mean,
when was the last time she released
we
an
know
album?
that she's
You
consistent.
cannot remember
She's
her last. What was
consistent.
her last video?
I don't know. I saw her in concert, so I'm thinking the concert, which was like a video.
You know,
it
he's
was
just-
like, you know, I'm just saying. I mean, no, we're gonna, you know, I'm excited. Is that better?
Don't
I'm excited.
fake it.
I'm excited. Yes.
Everybody wants it faked.
I love Beyonce. I really do.
Don't
I do.
fake
The
it.
Beehive's coming for you.
Hey, listen, Beehives, I'm pro Beyonce. I'm not hating on Beyonce. All right, I'm just saying. Don't give me those nasty Twitters.
All right, let's just move on because
Those
Daryl's gonna
nasty
get
Twitters.
Daryl's gonna get nervous.
I'm gonna get upset with Jesse, and we don't want that. All right, so last week's buzzer meter question. We have the results. Is it the government's responsibility to do a better job protecting us on the internet? You guys voted. 60% of you said yes, and 40% said no. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, that's nice.
I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 about it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I want the government all up in my computer.
And I don't want them jacking up the internet, and then it's going to be like starting to cost money in ways that it didn't before, and all that. But whereas I understand that like some things need to be protected, I think part of that is our job. Like,
Yeah.
stop taking your naked pictures and thinking it's okay to send that shit.
Right. Selfies.
Ooh, which Instagram and their new little situation that they got going on.
With the direct messages.
Yeah,
direct
it's a lot
videos,
going on.
Movies.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
People
I think
send
it's.
nasty stuff. Y'all are nasty out there.
Oh, people get grimy with theirs. We were having a whole conversation about this
Some
yesterday.
things need to just be left in your room
Yes.
or your bathroom
Yes.
or kitchen sink or whatever you like to do.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm not saying anything.
What selfies are you looking at over there,
I'm not
Courtney?
looking at any selfies.
Courtney.
Forget Beyonce. Let's just go right into
I know,
No, because
selfies.
I mean,
I know.
basically, that's all Beyonce was doing in her videos.
Ooh,
All right, we're going to get into that. Okay, all right. So today's question is, do you think sexuality in music is going too far? Which is perfect.
Well,
Well,
if you saw them Beyonce
Right.
videos, you might have an opinion.
you might have an opinion. All right, let's get into the trending topics with Jesse. Go ahead, buddy.
So, Beverly Hills Cop, it's coming back with a reboot. But this reboot is actually going to have one of the characters from the original. Eddie Murphy is signed on for Beverly Hills Cop, which is interesting because it's not going to be taking place in Beverly Hills.
No,
It's going to be taking place in Detroit,
Detroit.
which is
Okay.
kind of like, well, why are we calling it
Well,
Beverly Hills
because he's
Cop?
the same character.
Yes.
And he was in Beverly Hills, and now he's in Detroit.
And I'm not mad at that because right now Detroit needs some
Yeah.
financial help.
Yes.
So,
Hope they shoot it in Detroit and give Detroit some money.
yes.
All right. Well, it's being there's not too much on it other than it's going to be directed by Brett Ratner, and people are really excited about it. I'm excited.
Do you remember the third one?
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping Eddie Murphy brings back the original comedy and not like the third.
I don't I don't remember the third one at all.
It kind of, yeah.
You
I
don't
remember 1 and 2. The third one kind of flew by real quick.
Yeah.
But those 3 films did make $840 million.
Yeah, because Eddie is worth like
I mean,
$80 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cult classic.
It's a cult classic. And the good thing also that I read for Detroit is that this is kind of like their year of other films that are also looking at that location. They have Man of Steel that's possibly being shot there. I think that they said they actually confirmed pretty much that Man of Steel will be shot there. And Batman is also a candidate to be shot in Detroit. So you know what? Their financial troubles may be over rather soon.
Great news for Detroit.
Yes.
Bad news.
Big ups for Detroit.
Film in Los Angeles.
Well,
we keep on losing it,
we keep
California.
on losing it. First it was Canada, now it's Detroit. Taking it away.
Bye-bye Hollywood.
Bye-bye Hollywood.
So Timbaland, recently, his new album's about to be coming out called Textbook Timbo, which I'm excited for. And he came out and he had this statement to say, which is a very bold statement of him. And I personally feel it's a little salty, but I'm going to let y'all hear what he says. Right. In reference to music's new generation, he says, they have no stars. He says, I believe music is too oversaturated these days. They have these DJs, techno, whatever. That's not music. That just goes to show you that drugs is that popular.
Wow.
He said, I don't want to feel like I'm dissing people because guess what? They found a way to make a living for themselves. So who am I to diss the next man who knows how to make a living for themselves? I don't know.
You just had the moment of pause after that.
Because I'm just like think about it, Tim. Like right now this year, the big albums have been, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and they've all been in the game for a minute. But you have to think how are you going to judge the people that are starting right now? Because when Timbaland first started, when Jay-Z first started, people were looking at them like they're not really a star. It took years and years of building that to become what it is. So how are you going to sit here and say Justin Bieber's not a star?
I think he was speaking more to musical talent.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
More so than just the idea of star. It's sort of like one of those things there'll never be a Whitney Houston because that sound and hearing and that skill is not what our ears are trained to hear anymore. So things and I don't think Justin Bieber really fits in that category because I actually think Kendrick he has
Lamar?
Some talent. I mean, you don't want me to go in.
Yeah, no,
actually, I would like to hear it.
Drake.
Did you just say Drake?
I just said Drake.
I mean, obviously he's a celebrity, star in that way, but to think of him as some sort of musical phenomenon, no.
But he
in
changed
10 years,
hip-hop.
in 10 years, we're not going to give a shit about Drake.
But you say that, but who knows?
No, we don't know.
He's literally changed music. That's like saying, in 10 years from now, we're probably not going to talk about Beyonce.
I don't think
someone comes up with a better, can dance and sing more.
I don't think that. I think that Beyonce, those aren't comparable because they're in different lanes. And I think Beyonce's status is sort of she's like our generation's version, sort of Madonna, a little bit later, and it's still growing. I just think, obviously there's plenty of people making music and making great money and selling records and doing great things. I just think that he's speaking to sort of an old spirit of musicianship and knowledge about music and not just doing what is comfortable to be here now.
Well, and also, I felt after reading what he said too, I agree with Timbaland because the days of record companies taking a talent and growing them record to record and putting the real development into them is over. If you're not on YouTube or on some social media outlet and selling records just off of that, you're not getting any play. And that's fine. That's just the way the industry is nowadays. But I think that his statement is towards that because all these new people out now, a lot of them, we don't really know if they have a lot of talent because it is so synthesized and you don't hear the voices. And the ones who really can sing, unfortunately, those people are so synthesized too. You can't understand if they can really, really, truly sing or truly have talent.
But see, I don't know. I'm just so indifferent to it because it's just I get it because I say the same thing. I love 90s music, but in the 90s when that music was out there, my parents were saying, well, this isn't even real music. You guys don't know what real music is. You have to listen to our generation. And so for him to say that, it's like, well, so Timbaland, then you're not a real a star. Because what does Timbaland do that Avicii doesn't do? Just because it's two different lanes of beats, of making different types of music, like, how can you sit there and judge the next person? Like, it just, to me, comes off really salty. And it's just like, I get it. Like, no, we're never going to have, you know, an NSYNC boy band again. We're never going to get, you know, the things that Madonna got as an artist. No, that's not going to happen. You have to build that yourself if you want to do that. But that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be people in these categories from 2013 on, or that we don't have that. They're babies right now.
But do you not think there's like a massive amount of mediocrity
in
music?
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's sort of more the point for him. It's that it's just so much that's just
it's just all the same
in the middle that doesn't. Nobody's speaking. Well, not nobody. Not enough people are speaking strongly through their music and really giving us something that.
I mean, how many times do you turn on the radio now and you honestly do not know who they are?
I don't even listen to the radio
it could be
anymore.
A new person or it could be someone, you can't tell the difference
anymore. No, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, but at this time, that's why you say, okay, well, Chris Brown, like, stamped. He's stamped to me. Because when you hear Chris Brown, you know it's Chris Brown. And you usually like the music, and all of his songs are #1 right now. And with his new mixtape, I mean, it's just a different type of sound for him. Exactly what Beyonce just dropped. I think it's just... we were in the generation of Ratchet. It's just where we were. We didn't want to hear that kind of music. We wanted to be up in the club, twerking our little booties. I mean, that's just where we were. Now this generation, now where we're going, since Beyonce dropped her album,
we're going to new places that are monumental.
Beyonce's changing the world.
That keeps coming back. And I do disagree with Courtney with Drake, though. I think Drake is super talented. I think that he is. Great. I think he has changed the game. And I think 10 years from now we will be hearing from Drake still, because Drake can rap. He can sing well enough, and he can act.
There's never been another rapper that did that.
Will Smith
created that sound.
Created a sound, yes. He's like a mini Will Smith to me. He's like on that path.
Well, yeah, but the emo-ness of it, like he brought emo-ness to hip hop.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, so Timbaland did that. He was talking about that. Sounded a little salty to me. I mean, the other person, we got Miss Rashida Jones in the news.
Rashida, I love Rashida.
I gotta read this one because. So Rashida came out.
Love the pick of Nicki Minaj.
And she had this to say of 2013. If 1994 was the year of OJ's white Bronco, 2013 was the year of the very visible vagina. She said this in Glamour magazine. She was not scared to criticize Miley Cyrus for twerking and Nicki Minaj for her little Halloween pasties, down to Rihanna pouring it up, to Lady Gaga's butt crack on the cover of her album. She came out to say, let me just say up front, I'm not a prude. I love sex. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality. But I find it this oddly boring that the only way to promote sex is with lots of skin, lots of licking, teeth, lots of bending over. Can I just like a song without having to take an ultrasound of some pop star's privates?
That's a hell of a statement.
The fact that I was accused of slut-shaming, being anti-woman, and judging women's sex lives crushed me. I consider myself a feminist, but I will look at women with influence, millionaire women who use their sexiness to make money, and ask some questions. There is a difference, a key one being shaming and holding someone accountable. And then finishing up, she said, women, let's try to discuss the larger implications on pop culture without shaming each other. And finally, pop stars, please stop saying you don't want to be role models, because guess what? You are.
Yeah, but okay, and
she must have lots of gay friends, because she read them for filth. She read them for
I appreciate what Rashida's saying. The only thing is that the music business has always had sexuality and women putting themselves out there and exposing themselves in different ways. Hello, Madonna. We just talked about that. Hello, all the Little Kim. I mean, we could go, the list goes on. Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. It's part of what gets, unfortunately, I'll say unfortunately, it's part of what gets you noticed outside of that. But I mean, we can take it all the way back to, I'm going to say
Elvis.
Prince.
Honestly.
I mean, I'm going to use Prince in some form of a sentence.
No, but I mean, I always go back to Elvis, because it's funny that they used to get to the point of that they couldn't pan down on him just moving.
Right,
his,
it was he
like
was
the dumbest
genitalia.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, rock bands, 80s rock bands, 90s rock bands. I mean, sexuality has always been the thing that takes it and pushes it to the next level. So what's the difference now? I don't see a difference. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more out there because of social media, but it's always been there.
I mean, if you want to talk like that, I think Rashida and Timbaland are kind of on the same page of these people are making up for the missing soul in music by replacing it with their damn titties.
I mean, yes.
At the end of the day, if Miley Cyrus is gonna damn lip sync or do whatever, I mean, as long as she's on stage looking crazy and twerking, I'm entertained. You know, that's what we've become accustomed to.
Yes, it's more in our faces now. What you got to say,
Like,
Courtney?
and look at Nicki Minaj,
so
like on
sad.
Instagram, like really, millions of kids follow her on Instagram, and there's no like 18 or older or anything like that. And this bitch posted so many pictures of her dressed like that, and it's just like, how can you sit there and say I love my little Barbies and stuff? Like you want them to grow up to look at this as a role model?
because she thinks it's great.
Girl, bye.
She's proud of
don't
it.
even
But
make
she's
sense.
21 years old.
Who?
Oh, she older than 21.
Who she is, 30?
No,
32.
I thought you talking about Miley.
Oh, no.
Sorry, you said Nikki. Oh,
Well, what does
my
being
bad.
21 have to do with anything? Like, okay, yes.
Well, I think because there's a
just 'cause you're
maturity
saying she's
sometimes.
an adult?
Well, she's an adult, and there's, when she was doing some of these things, it was in her transition of trying to find her womanhood. If we look back at Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears, they all did that same transition. When they went from like 16 through 21, gyrating, freaking Christina Aguilera is on a wrestling video with
Yeah,
mud
she got all
and
that for
shit
dirty.
splashed all over. And then she transitioned into a woman. It's like a stage that it's just different stages that they go through in this public realm.
I mean,
And I think probably a lot of girls do go through this stage. Maybe not that.
We just strip off
You
our
just
shit
strip.
and
You
start
strip.
wrestling and
You strip
whatnot.
off at home. No, I'm kidding. No, you just. It's just not in the public eye. That's all.
I mean, I don't take issue
Courtney,
with
do you get
Miley
naked on your
being.
couch?
I get naked all the time
Singing
and just
Wrecking Ball?
run around singing
I'm not
Wrecking
saying.
Ball,
I'm not
throwing
saying every.
shit.
what
girl.
year did you really
Naked.
go through that?
When I went through that, I was probably about 14. No, I'm just kidding.
Can we see the selfies?
That's the point. I'm
There
glad
were-
you just said that. That's why it's an issue.
Right.
Like before, yes, sex sales, period, that point blank, that's fine. Sex sales is one thing versus raunch and just excess. And at some point, it becomes excessive, that it's not even like, it's one of those things like porn's not even surprising anymore because we see it on
it's in our
daytime
face,
television. And it's like at some point, are we gonna like pull back and be like, yeah, Miley, girl, you cut your hair, you started wearing red lipstick, you was learning about rappers, like whatever, fine, go through your ish. I'm happy for you, whatever. But at some point, because of the world that we live in now, there's so much access to everything.
Yes.
We have to start protecting something.
Yeah, but can we really go
And
back? Can we
it's
go
not
backwards
I
now?
don't think we can. I don't think it's an issue of going back. Me saying that we need to protect something is recognizing that we live in a world that is very different than it was in the 90s when sex was still selling.
Very true.
But it's not the same as it was then. The pictures go everywhere. All ages can see them any time of day. That whole like, oh, the raunchy stuff comes on TV after 10 or 11 doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Which means if you have kids, then you have to be more aware of that and put your kids elsewhere or show them other shit. Like you
Right.
can't just keep, oh, I wish it used to be what it was. And
We got two
No.
shits out of you today, by
Sorry,
the way. That's
didn't
two
mean
shits.
to do that. But in the end, like, I'm not mad at what Rashida said.
I'm not mad at you.
I get it and I understand it. I recognize, though, on the same note, they're pop stars. They have things they do to sell. But they also, like, at some point, you're a star, Nicki Minaj, for instance. Like, how long do you need to sell your body? Not your talent, your body. To make money. Like, at what point does that get old?
Well, I-
like,
but-
at what point do you,
Wait a
as
minute.
a
But
woman...
we're gonna talk about Beyonce,
No,
and,
no,
and
hold on.
Beyonce's
We
talented,
are.
and she
I'm
does
not-
the same thing,
Hold
and
on.
she doesn't need to. She's got the talent.
Calm down, boo. I'm just talking about Nicki Minaj
Minaj,
because
at
that's
this
our
moment.
example on the camera right
Did
now.
I get it? See,
I'm not saying
I'm
that
making up. I'm
nobody
making up for
else
my
does that.
non-excitement from earlier when you announced the
But
album.
see, to go on.
I'm just wondering, like, at some point, as a woman, period, not like in the public eye and all that bullshit. Like, at some point, you get tired of your titties having to be out to mean something. Like, it does not have to be your breast that means something. You have a brain, you have talent, you can rap, you have a heart, you have a soul. Like, work, that's gonna be your work for life?
Well, I mean, we talked about earlier, you know, someone, I followed Britney Spears, and you look at her now, you can see at this age in her life, she feels uncomfortable when it's anything like her half naked or sexual at this point. She's like, I'm a mom now. Like, you know, I can't be like slave for you. It's like a whole new person. Now, in order for us to change, honestly, like, it's going to take these stars to be like, you know what? I'm going to be sexy, but I'm going to be sexy in a classy way. And Beyonce had the perfect opportunity last night with releasing this album and the videos. But I feel like she just did what Rihanna would do. But in a better, in a nicer way, a classier way of a strip club. But it's just still, it's kind of like, Beyonce.
We ain't there yet, boo.
You could have really changed the game and made these girls step up, because then Nicki Minaj, you know, Nicki Minaj used to dress crazy. Now she tries to dress whatever, you know, more conservative, and then you get this stuff from her. Like, I don't know. It's up to the artist.
It's like if I worked in a law firm and like the only time I got checks were when I came in with my titties out. Like at some point, at some point I would be tired. Like, can I get a check for having like I don't know, a tank top on? Like I wonder, do you just get tired of having to be naked to make your money? Because that's what you're doing. You're being naked to make your money.
Well, I think,
and you had to change your body to even do that.
I mean, that's true, and I think we're noticing it more now, obviously because we're talking about social media, but also say the time period of like the Little Kim when she was hot in the 90s. Lauryn Hill would balance that with her own style that wasn't sexual. It was sexy in her own way, but it wasn't sexually provocative.
Right.
So there was a balance of two different tiers that a kid or someone who was watching it could kind of choose which one. Where now it's kind of no choice. Like everybody's titties is out now. Like you don't. There's not too many people.
I would also argue that Little Kim's titties being out was not nearly what this is.
Yeah.
Because if you, she was
Little
on
Kim,
a red carpet
she had
with
her
a
pasties.
That was one.
And having people
that
like
was a
feel
full
like
was one
outfit
time.
that wasn't her videos. That wasn't all over her website. Yes, she had hard ass lyrics talking about all
She's
kinds
talking
of
about
That's the
sucking.
point. She talked about it. My point is that that's your voice. That's not you selling your body parts as some sort of image and advertising for what you can do. That was her using her art to do it. I'm not telling them not to be sexy or talk about sex or be sexual or talk about how good the dong is or whatever it is that they're on at that time, because you have a voice, you're allowed to say that. That's part of the art. But at some point, it's just using your body. I'm just talking about the body.
I got you.
Necessary for you to sell your art all the time. For years, because they've been around for years.
I mean, I feel you. I think I just still feel like it's not that much difference from the artists that we're talking about before.
Really?
I mean, some all over.
Yeah, but Daryl, this is
Kim was
every
in
day.
furs.
This is every day.
But how many licks Little Kim in that video? She wasn't in no damn
She
furs.
wasn't naked.
I mean, she was damn near.
She was not naked. Lil' Kim was walking down a runway in how many licks in different outfits? What are you talking
and then
about?
the naked part of it was the plastic
bodies. Yeah, it was a blow-up doll.
And it was one video. It's not my video, my Instagram, my website,
Yeah,
my
but
red carpet,
every
my
appearance, though,
every.
I'm gonna say until she changed, when she transitioned and like the designers start really paying attention to her, she transitioned into a different image.
In
At
Junior
first,
Mafia,
she was
not naked.
Yeah, she
What
was
are you
not
talking
naked.
about?
I don't. We got to pull
Like,
back some
okay,
more videos.
hardcore, she had her puffy little vajayjay all up in the picture.
Cover of the album.
I'm talking
was
about
her
appearances too.
squatting.
I'm talking about music awards and appearances.
Music awards, the only really thing
Not just videos.
where her titty out was the one with her one titty. Then from that, I remember when she did the Lady Marmalade, she had the zipper outfit on, which was fully clothed. She did the what was it, the disco-y one with the white with the orange flowers on it. Really, the only naked thing I can remember is the titty out, which Diana Ross was even like,
I'm gonna do my Little Kim research tonight and look at old
You do
videos
it, and I
see.
know Lil'
And
Kim.
I'm
But
gonna
you're
come
just
back.
naming one artist. Name another artist at the time that was doing this. This is every artist. Miley Cyrus, Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj. Like
Selena
every
trying to be
artist. The
sexy.
only one.
Taylor Swift, the only one trying to keep her clothes on.
Yeah.
Right, and no, that's what I'm saying. There's not a balance. Like there used to be a balance, and it does seem like now that everybody is just this. But I also feel that social media has played a key in that, and I feel if we had Instagram the same way that we do now when Little Kim was coming out, we would have seen more titties
Well, that's
out.
the point. We didn't, but now we do. So now we change with what the world is as it is now.
Because what does that even mean to anybody? Like, oh, now that we have, I can send you a direct picture. I instantly just, I just want to send Daryl my dick. Like, what? Why?
They're just titties. Like, why do they have to be all over the place? Like, they're just there. They're always there. Like
just
why?
because Instagram is allowing you to share something private with somebody does not mean it needs to be your private parts.
Well, I mean, it's going to have to be a joint effort of a lot of people changing it. 'Cause I don't know how.
Stop getting excited about titties.
Miley Cyrus
They're
just needs
just
to get
titties always
Miley
titties.
Cyrus just needs to get pregnant.
Talked about.
Just titties.
When Miley
Just
Cyrus
titties.
gets pregnant,
It'll all
I
be
feel
over.
the world will change.
The world will change.
Well, we're changed. All right, is that it for Rashida Jones and vaginas?
That's
Can
it.
we move
So-
on to another subject,
was she
please?
talking about vaginas? We
And
talking about
titties.
titties
Yeah, we
the
didn't even
whole
talk about
time.
vaginas. We talked about titties. So can
And
we move?
titties.
We're gonna move from
and titties to AfterBuzz
titties
TV
to something else. Yes.
You guys want to make sure you guys check out our other website, AfterBuzz TV. It's a #1 website for your favorite after shows for your favorite TV shows. So Real Housewives of Atlanta, Scandal, Castle, all those great TV shows.
Why'd you say it like that? Castle.
Whatever your favorite TV show is, as soon as it's done, go to AfterBuzzTV.com and we're talking about it.
Yes. All right. On to gossip and rumors with Courtney.
Well, being that we've already pretty much talked about
We've gone through your
all of
category
these,
already. Yeah.
we'll just briefly do a recap. So this week in the news, God, it's such a commentary on the problems in this country. So Obama was at Mandela's memorial service on Tuesday, where he gave a wonderful speech, and lots of people, there was celebration and love in the air and great memories of a wonderful man, and somehow the press found it necessary to spend about 5 news cycles for the last 5 days discussing Obama taking a selfie. He was caught on camera in the audience taking a selfie with the British Prime Minister David Cameron and Danish Prime Minister Helle Thorning-Schmidt. I guess that's how you pronounce that. And sitting next to Obama was a slightly peeved looking Michelle. And of course, the story that they were able to conjure up from looking at these pictures, because there was another picture that also came out where Michelle then had sat between Obama and the beautiful blonde Danish prime minister. And so they spun the story that basically, oh, Obama's being inappropriate. Obama doesn't know how to act at a funeral. Oh, Lord, look at him biting his lip.
Michelle fed
So
that story to them, though,
inappropriate.
for real, because look at it in this picture.
Associated Foreign Press photographer who actually took the picture, his name is Roberto Schmidt. He has commented that, quote, "Photos can lie. The reality is just a few seconds earlier, the First Lady was herself joking with those around her, Cameron and Schmidt included. Her stern look was just captured by chance."
And pause.
I just don't know how I feel about the president taking selfies.
Okay.
Why do we give a shiz?
I
Okay.
just think it's weird.
First of all, it was the lady's phone, by the way. It was the Danish prime minister's
It
phone,
was the
and
lady's
she was
phone.
taking the picture,
Yes.
number one.
Okay, I'm gonna say what annoys me about this story. It's not even that he took a selfie. I think that it was an inappropriate place probably to have a selfie taken at that moment. I think
you're at a
that's the
funeral.
case. You're at a
In case
funeral.
you guys were wondering, at the time that they took the selfie, there was actually dancing and celebration performances going on, because this was not a typical funeral. It was a celebration of Mandela's life. So it wasn't like it was somebody was like giving a eulogy and they were like taking self-portraits. There were dancers, there was music right at that point, and that photographer confirmed that. Just
Okay.
FYI.
I mean, that's fine. I still
I wish Michelle was enjoying those
I
performances.
still, yeah, Michelle's not enjoying too much. I still feel like it maybe should have waited afterwards, because your eyes are always on you as the president. That's my personal opinion for that. Now, my other
I have a
thing.
question.
Yes, go ahead.
So if the Danish prime minister and the British prime minister sitting next to you as President Obama said, hey, can we take a picture really quickly? As the president, you would say no?
Yep.
I mean, hey, can we wait till after the ceremony's
Right.
over and I'll take the picture? No problem. I want to finish enjoying this. I don't want to miss anything. Let me take the picture afterwards.
Okay.
I'm just saying. But that's not what annoys me. What annoys me actually is that how they depict Michelle always as being an angry black woman and jealous about shit. This is, this
Yep.
is a continuous thing that's in the news. So why is it that they automatically go there with this. We've talked about this before with even the whole thing with the controversy with him allegedly cheating with Kerry Washington, and Michelle changed her hair to look like Kerry Washington on Scandal, and that's the reason that Michelle got a new hairstyle. And it's always something, and I get it. As a first lady and as the president, you were always going to be depicted in one way, and there's always going to be news and rumors and gossip about you. But I'm kind of over the whole depiction of the angry black woman, the insecure Michelle Obama, because that's not what we get.
I'm over the whole thing,
Yeah.
in case you didn't notice.
It's just so dumb.
I'm mad that literally
This
it
is
was
a
on
story.
every news outlet for days.
Always.
And still
Yeah.
being reported right
And
now.
still being
As if
reported.
this is a story of
Yeah.
some sort of importance. Like, fine, think it's inappropriate all you want. I could care less. Why is it on the news?
Yeah.
There's people dying and needing food, and that's what you come up with. Anyway, Michelle was probably just clearing her throat, and as you all know, her jawline is kind of interesting anyway.
It's
so
very
I mean,
distinct.
that sucks. She keeps getting these like unflattering pictures. And it could just literally be her being like, at
could be
that
clearing her
moment, and
throat.
she got
Exactly.
caught doing it. Sorry, Michelle. Oh well, Barack, you can't catch a break, brother.
But
Sorry.
we've talked about this.
Oh yes, we talked about this further. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm so done. With
I could
it
tell.
that
I was like-
was moving on. But so we had the wonderful opportunity just yesterday actually to hang out at the Criminal Mindset from CBS. They were having their 200th episode anniversary, and we wanted to know what they thought about Obama and all his selfiness going on. So we got a little.
Selfiness.
Last but not least, we have had a lot in the news about selfies. For those of you that don't know, it's an Instagram photo of yourself. Okay, so Obama was taking a selfie at the Mandela event on Monday at the funeral. How do you guys feel about the whole culture around this whole everyone needs to have their own self picture up?
I don't know. I do it. People do it. I feel like when we start looking for more reasons to judge each other, that's a problem. And I mean, physician heal thyself. I do it too. So that's what I say. You? You've never taken a selfie.
I've never taken a selfie. I don't know what that means. I'm so shy. I mean, look, I'm not going to speak. Barack Obama taking a few. I mean, within its context. I mean, I don't know what Barack was doing. You know, I mean, if it's all about you in the wrong scenario, then that's on you. But at the end of the day, who cares? Now we're all. Everybody wants to be somebody. I don't care what you say. Everybody. Okay, we all want to be somebody in some kind of way. But do you want to be somebody for the right reasons? Okay, go on Instagram. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't have a problem with selfies. Get your shine on. I'm not going to tell you how long it's going to last. And if you do it for the wrong reasons, it ain't going to last but about 30 seconds. But if you do it for the right reasons, get your shine on.
Get your shine on.
Get your shine on.
Get your shine on.
And
That's
that
Shamar
was-
Moore
yes.
and Kirsten Banks Ness from Criminal Minds,
Minds.
and that's how they feel about it. Get your shine on.
Get your shine on.
Keep on shining. Next up, speaking of shining, we've got an update on a story we did last week. Miss Evelyn Lozada, who had announced that she was 6 months pregnant over her Instagram selfiness. She's back in the news this week because apparently her man boo named Mr. Carl Crawford maybe got a couple of baby boos that were happening
yeah.
simultaneously while she was getting baby booed up. So word on the street is that Mr. Carl Crawford just had a baby this past summer with a woman by the name of Amy Freeman. And they were able to find their Babies R Us registry from June of 2013. Mind you, math-wise, working it out, it is possible that this child that he had with this woman was conceived around November of last year. And Evelyn is saying that they've been together for
A year.
a year. So perhaps the baby was conceived in November and they got together in December and they just have another baby from this other woman. But it looks a little bit scandalous just because, you know, Miss Evelyn and her ballers have had some issues in the past. And anywho, there's 2 babies in the Crawford world for now.
That is some
Hopefully
tea.
they'll be close.
Hopefully
some
they will
tea.
be close.
I mean, it'll just be interesting to see, you know, if the other one comes speaks out. I'm sure she's getting paid real cute with that $130 million
I'm
Oh,
salary.
I'm sure she's doing quite well right now.
he's
Yes.
got her, girl, you
Yes.
fine, you fine. It's
Yeah.
gonna
So
be okay.
everyone's satisfied.
Yeah, everyone's satisfied. But some people were kind of saying, ooh, Evelyn, were you the side chick and taking away somebody's boo? So that's not good press for her, but I don't think that was the case.
No.
I would like to believe
Yeah.
that it was just maybe a one-night stand that ended up in a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Moving on.
I'm so mad you want to believe in the one night.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe. That's what I was gonna say. I was like,
because accidents happen.
no.
No, they did,
It was
yes.
a one night
Yeah.
stand, and all snap. 4 months later, she pregnant. Dang, we ain't in a relationship though. Because I'd
Right.
rather believe that than believe that Evelyn was like on some dude that had another woman and a baby
Right.
on the way. Like that's horrible.
You know, I feel like we need to bring those wrap it up commercials back. Remember BET? Ja Rule would be like, wrap it up! I want those back.
Okay.
all right,
We'll work on that.
We'll work on that one, Jesse.
Last
Jesse
but
J.
not least this week. Well,
Okay, here we go.
I'm spitting on myself.
Let me get excited. Hold on.
It was a rumor. Okay, so basically, the original story was that a Columbia executive had spoken out. Robert Stronger was asked about 2014 and his excitement about what was coming out for Columbia, and he quote as saying, at the beginning of next year, we've got Broken Bells and Bruce Springsteen. Then we got Leah Michelle from Glee coming, and we've got Foster and people up next. Then we got Pharrell and Solange, which excited me, actually. I wanted to throw that in. And obviously, at some point, Beyonce will put a record out, and when she does, it will be monumental. Not a day passed that he said that, and the woman done dropped a record last night at midnight. We got text messages and Twitter went crazy, and Jesse called me and texted me and was like, "Oh
And
my
Courtney
God."
was excited, but
I
Daryl
was
wasn't.
excited. Daryl wasn't excited. I was trying to download it and couldn't get it on my iPad. It was freezing. It was crazy. But Beyonce, entitled album Beyonce, is on iTunes, y'all. Visual album.
14 songs,
14
17
songs,
videos.
17 videos. And as we mentioned, in relation to our buzzometer question about sex and music, Beyonce got real sexual.
Mm-hmm.
She got real sexual.
She
Eat my
got
cherry.
Very,
make
very
my cherry pop.
sexual. Lick my Skittles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This lick the center, like what? And the visuals, she got pierced nipples and like leather and
She was doing it.
dominatrix and
She was doing it.
The,
The black and white. I
Can
don't.
we just say the
it
meat
was so
on
many
her
videos.
booty?
Oh, her booty.
I mean-
she's luscious. She is definitely.
I know
luscious.
Thanksgiving just passed, but the meat on Beyonce's booty made me want Thanksgiving dinner again. I'm just saying.
Oh, good.
Wow, that's Jesse. Let me find out.
Alrighty then.
That means a
Daryl.
lot coming from
No,
you.
it don't. It's Beyonce.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I
it
didn't realize you were a Beyonce
It
fan like
just
that.
made me want to work out and get
First
a
of all,
booty
hold
like
up,
that.
hold up. Everyone's a Beyonce fan. Even if you
Touche.
hate Beyonce, you really still love Beyonce.
Usually it's just because you are a hater,
Yeah.
not because you really hate
She was killing it
Beyonce.
in the videos. I mean, like I said, there was like 17 of them, but the one
Now-
I remember is the black and white
My thing
with
is,
the black suit, black bodysuit, or the baby suit.
I think it was a great idea. It was it was fresh. It was new. It got Twitter and social media talking. But to use the word monumental.
So you don't think this is her best work?
No, because I mean, me and Courtney were sitting there talking, and we're like, okay, I've loved what we've had musically the past couple months, like between all the female pop stars. It makes me feel like we're back in the '90s, where everyone would kind of compete. Are you with this fan or this person's fan? And I feel like we have that game going on right now. And it was all about the stunts this year. Katy Perry's driving a gold truck with the name of Prism on it. Lady Gaga is humping rocks. Britney Spears is in Vegas. Like, we're getting all these cool little ways to sell albums. And with Beyonce, I'm just like, it was a great idea, but it just wasn't like monumental. Like, it was awesome. It was cool. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an epic move, but I don't know. I hope we're still talking about it in 2014 and having the same kind of hyphiness about it. I know I'm still like wired over it. Shit, I've been watching the videos all day.
Well, if the track record shows, we will be talking about in 2014 because they said she sold 80,000 albums in 3 hours, and she is predicted to be debuting at #1 on Billboard. So I think we'll be talking about it in 2014.
I think some of us will be talking about it, and some of us should not be talking about it because you shouldn't be old enough to have it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But go Beyonce, she a grown woman, and she really showed
Do
that.
whatever she wants.
And she did whatever she wanted. So
And low key, really, the only reason why I bought the album as soon as I did, like as soon as I heard that there was a Beyonce album out for purchase, I ran and bought it because no one knew if it was like supposed to be available or not.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
let me get this
Before it's gone. Exactly.
And congratulations to her for keeping this airtight. I mean, that there was no leaks on this one. You know, like I was like, wow, she.
And you know, with some tea about that is one of my friends does A&R for her. He didn't even know.
That's crazy.
When it was going to be released. He kept saying like we have over 90 songs. He's shot videos and stuff like, but basically the record label kept telling everybody, no, we're scrapping the project.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, hell, we even heard about the wedding with Jay-Z before it was out officially. And we didn't hear anything about this album.
And which is interesting because a lot of the videos have just a lot of people from from around the block.
Around the way.
And around the way.
Getting back to the communities.
She did that.
She did that.
Girl, the way she dancing that, I'm scared she might give something else back to the community.
Or gives up. Well, let me stop.
Like on the Rihanna status. I'm like,
All right. Courtney, is that all you got on Beyonce?
Oh my God, yes.
Well, if you want to hear more about some of the conversations we've had about Beyonce, you can go to iTunes and look up Black Hollywood Live and download some of our other episodes for this week. We also have several other shows, including The Beat, which Jesse hosts. Fashion 411 with Courtney is one of the fashion hosts on there. We have Portraits. We have Stand Up, Sit Down, Love on Top, BHL Athletes, and the list goes on and on. So definitely go there, give us a rating and comments. You guys have been really great with doing that, and we take note to everything and try and improve the shows each week. So go to iTunes and go to Black Hollywood Live and give us a rating and comment.
Sure.
Thank you. Moving on to hot topics. All right, Mr. Al Sharpton. I hope after this story that I'm about to read, they give him a little bit of slack because I feel like he's finally officially stepping up and doing his thing.
Trying to do something.
Trying to do something positive. Well, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks about the whole controversy of racial profiling in Barney's and Macy's, where there were several black people who were young and just doing their business and buying what they wanted to buy, and the police decided to stop them, and it went through a whole racial profiling story. Well, Mr. Sharpton has met with the representatives from Barney's, Macy's, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale's, The Gap, and other department stores to create this Bill of Rights that will help people to stop racial profiling in stores. So basically, this Bill of Rights will be posted at the door of all the stores, and it's a one-page document outlining what consumers can and cannot do and what they can expect in stores. So this is something that, this is an example of something that will be posted. It prohibits unreasonable searches and detaining persons for a reasonable amount of time and ensures shoppers that civil rights will be honored. For two, any employee or stores that violate the bill is subject to disciplinary action and including termination of employment. Al Sharpton is also requesting a meeting with the New York police commissioners to discuss involvement with the New York officers to ensure that people's rights are obtained. I think this is great. I think that, we've talked about Al being in the news and people have criticized him, such as Bill O'Reilly and other officials, just about what he does and doesn't do for the community. I'm actually really proud of him. I mean, I think that he stepped up, and I think this is something that hopefully will change a little bit of the racial profiling that we deal with. What do you guys think? Because Courtney doesn't seem to think that this is the case from the expression on her face right now.
No, I read it, and I know how they mentioned like most of these are like rules that existed for department stores and things anyway, and the whole idea of posting them is sort of to remind people and put it in their faces. And on the one hand, I'm like, okay. But then on the other hand, I'm like, you're posting rules like a kindergarten classroom doesn't change people's attitudes and stuff. I mean, I guess it could possibly like make them check themselves a little bit better. I just want to send them to slave camp.
It's like, honestly, think about this. When you go into a bathroom at an establishment and it said all employees must wash your hands. Duh. You should be washing your hands anyways. I shouldn't even have to have that damn sign up.
You shouldn't.
But guess
the
what?
sign is a
Do you know how many
reminder.
times I've gone into the bathroom and seen people
Walk away without
washing,
Yeah.
washing their hands or things like that? And it's like,
It just,
I hear you.
It didn't feel like very much.
But the thing is, to your point, Jesse, and I agree with you, Courtney, but the thing is with this is that, yes, not everybody's going to do it. But if one person does it who wouldn't have done it out of those, say, 10 people, then that's moving towards the right direction. You're not going to get everybody to change everything all at once. But at least you're going to take a step back, and maybe when you were about to do something, you're like, hold up. because now I feel like they're making people a little bit more accountable by this whole, maybe the fear of I might lose my job if I really do this. I'm not saying that everybody will give a shit about it, but this might make people take a step back.
I hope he sticks with it. I hope that he stands by it, and I hope that it's not something that, you know, it might slow down, you know, stop and frisk for maybe a couple months, and then after that it comes back again. Like, I hope he sticks by this bill and sees it all the way through.
It's a step. It's a step.
I hope they like establish, and I mean I know they exist in some corporate environments, like sensitivity training, but like for real sensitivity training. Like, and I don't, not to be ridiculous, but like I really feel like security guards, law enforcement, those groups of people need to go through some hardcore, like walk in another man's shoe kind of stuff, and without being like put on blackface and walk down the street. Like, for real, need to. I mean, Tyra became a fat girl for a day to get some information, and I, as ridiculous as it sounds, I think there would be some value in making them some kind of way exist as the other for part of their training for an extended period of time to understand, because I feel like that's the only thing that's going to change the core of people. Seeing rules on a list, if you are a prejudiced individual, is not necessarily going to change how you see other people. It will, it could change your behavior, which is obviously the point, but I just would like to see something a little more intense happen.
Okay.
Well, I would say this is a step and see where this goes, and then start the next process of the follow-up to it would be something like what you're talking about, Courtney. Like,
I really hope that's not all that came out of those meetings.
I hope not.
But I'll say this. I mean, there's this bar that I really like to go to. And the one thing that this bar has on the outside of it, because it's not in West Hollywood, it's not in a heavily gay area, but it says on the front, we do not tolerate homophobics, racism, sexism, all this stuff. And there is something about that. Every time I go that I notice that sign, that makes me feel like I don't have to worry. I don't have to think. Because that is in the back of my mind at times, you know, when I go to certain places. And it just popped in my mind right now that I do always acknowledge that sign is there and appreciate that it is there.
I'm glad you said that, because I feel like that sign is different from what they have put up. Saying patient bill of rights and like listing like to me that waters it down in a way that saying racism, sexism, stupidity, ignorance is not acceptable. Like, that to me is way stronger than what they have now posted. Like, if they straight up had signs like you're racist, you're ignorant, you're out.
Don't shop in our stores.
Don't shop. Like, to me, that's more powerful.
It's more powerful. I'll give you that.
Because like seeing that, if you see that list, like, who gonna stop and read it? Oh, I got a patient bill. Like, it doesn't have the same. It doesn't hit the same chord. So
I think they should even start giving maybe something in the bags. Like, when people shop, like put that. If they had that bill of rights with your receipt, I think that's a stronger message too. Possibly, you may read it more. You may pay attention to it more. But I agree, it's that is a little bit less powerful than what Jesse was referring to. And some people don't agree with you, Courtney. Some people don't think that this is strong enough. Robert Brown, who is an actor on Trim, on HBO's Trim, he had a incident in a Macy's, and he feels like all this is just a PR stunt, and he's actually still going along with his lawsuit against Macy's for racial profiling. As he should.
In my opinion.
In his opinion, or in your opinion. And Tyson Beckford also has made comments about him being racially profiled when he walks into department stores as well.
He's so pretty.
He's a pretty man.
He probably thinks he's being racially profiled, but
and
they're probably just
stalking him. Like,
they're just looking at him, right?
Damn, he's fine.
And people are still kind of upset about Jay-Z's partnership with Barney's and his decision to stick with them.
Well, ain't no one mad at him now that Beyonce released that album.
Yes. So we hope that these Bill of Rights will change some situations, but I guess time will tell.
Time will tell.
All right. In other news, a new report from Harvard University's Joint Center for Housing Studies found out this piece of information. More than half of all blacks and Latinos who are renters pay more than 30% of their income in rent. Nearly 3 in 10 of the renters spent more than half of their incomes on covering their housing costs. Most of them, unfortunately, were at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. This is what the lead researcher, Chris Herbert, had to say about the situation. People of color are more likely to have lower incomes, and lower income households have fared quite poorly as rent has risen. He later said, "It's a challenging problem that has been growing over periods of time, so there's not necessarily any easy solution that we can do right now to fix the problem." Another part of the story in general just gave a little bit more information. 59% of black renters were paying rent at a higher rate than 30% of the threshold. 58% of the Latinos were doing the same thing compared to 46% of Caucasians. So 8 in 10 people with incomes below $15,000 were paying rent north of 30% of the threshold. That's some scary stuff.
Very scary.
Now, what they're also saying is that with this socioeconomic problem, when people put in all their money and their paychecks towards rent, then other things are lacking now: electricity, food,
Buying Beyonce.
healthcare, buying Beyonce tickets. That's not funny, Jesse. Transportation, those other things, because they just don't have the income. Now, I don't know a solution to this because this is a bigger problem.
Yeah, it's scary because it's like one of those things where the hole just keeps getting deeper, and it's going to be that much more difficult for people to crawl out. And we're already in a time where getting a home, I think part of that story too was it used to be like, as home ownership increased, like rents would go down a little bit, so there was some balance, and now that doesn't exist anymore, which makes it that much more difficult for minorities, so to speak, even though we're not minorities really anymore, because we're taking over to get out of that.
But there's so many studies, and I feel like sometimes there's studies that give contradicting information, because I feel like we just had a study recently that talked about how blacks are moving up in the socioeconomic environment. So with us increasing our money and jobs and positions, wouldn't that mean that maybe less of us are renting, or if we are renting, we have higher incomes?
It's more difficult to get loans for houses now. So
because
yes, that's why more of them are
boom.
renting, but not qualifying for loans. And if you're spending more than 30% of your income on your rent, you also don't have the ability to really save to have down payments on homes. And that means you're not going to own a home. So that whole idea of like the American dream and needing to own a home and how that has financial stability for most families is not necessarily going to be the case going forward, and not easily changed. So that gap only increases between the haves and the have-nots.
But it still seems like the black people are still the lowest ones out of all the other ethnic groups as well. I mean, I was even surprised versus like Latinos. I was surprised that we still in this time period, what do you got to say, Jesse?
Can't surpass it.
Well, I'm just going to say, I just feel like there's more. Nothing. Okay.
No, you can listen.
More.
Black people on the books. Just put it like that.
Okay.
Living here in California, I can say that.
Right.
Like, it shocks me the amount of people going down to certain offices and things like that, and the things that people put on there on certain forms, or friends of mine who have people living with them that shouldn't be living with them, that aren't even known, are even citizens. I think, that's why.
So the data's a little skewed.
Yeah. And they get more out of it, actually, because of that. They can legally put them down on papers, give it to the government, and the government will give them more money. And those people don't even live in this country, aren't supposed to even be in this country.
Okay.
Immigration.
Immigration.
Another one of those things Obama needs to stop.
And they got a nicer apartment than my house. I'm like, what the?
Well,
it's an interesting
it's an ongoing
situation.
problem. I don't know if we're going to have an easy fix, and I mean we can add it to the Obama list, but listen, let's get the we just got the healthcare issue.
I'm tired.
Yeah, listen, we just got the healthcare issue kind of in a good rotation right now. Let's ride that for a little bit before we conquer another problem. That's Let's see how that goes. All right, the final story of the day is kind of pertaining to a couple things we've been talking about, but a BP, which is British Petroleum Oil Company, a BP executive by the name of Melphine Evans has been fired because of her ethnic garment and ethnic hairstyles. Melphine, who started the company in 2001, just filed a lawsuit in Orange County seeking damages for race, gender discrimination, harassment, retaliation, and wrongful termination.
Oh.
In the 24-page lawsuit, some of the racially charged remarks that Melphine said that she endured while working at BP included: 1, you intimidate and make your colleagues uncomfortable by wearing ethnic clothing and ethnic hairstyles. That's
White people, what is wrong?
What's up? Why can't she have
What?
Why can't she have cornrows or hair and
This
braids?
is
What?
intimidating.
Well,
I'm worried.
Wait, let me get through this before we even get there, because there's some better ones.
Come on.
If you insist on wearing ethnic clothing and hairstyles, you should only do this during your cultural day, Black History Month, Black History Month, or special
you already
diversity
heard- I thought you read
events
this already.
that take place for the company. Number 3, if you are going to wear ethnic clothing, you should alert people in advance so that they will be wearing something ethnic as well.
Oh, well, you know what?
And that you can let them know and give them a heads up that you're going to wear something ethnic so they're not feeling uncomfortable.
Hold the hell up, because do you know how many damn times I've walked up in damn whatever type of business and you'll see some fat old white man wearing some shirt he should not be wearing, two times too small with his belly. He needs to get permission from us to visually look at his damn ass.
Well, this goes back to what we were saying with ethnic names. This goes back to the whole ethnicity thing. It's just annoying. You know, okay, let's start here. I get that there are just certain companies, corporations, that there are dress codes that you have to endure to.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a friend who works at JP Morgan, and they can't wear, as a woman, wear skirts. She has to wear pants. Fine. It's part of the deal. It is what it is. Now, when you start talking about hairstyles and just ethnic garment, I mean, where is the fine line on what is just a strict guideline for clothing just as a corporation versus a racial profiling, basically, incident, you know?
I like need to see the court paperwork. Like I can't like. What is ethnic clothing exactly? Because
They really referenced the dashikis.
Yeah, it said dashikis, it said cornrows, and it said braids.
So they're saying she was wearing dashikis and cornrows,
and braids.
That's what upset
and that
everybody.
intimidated the white folk that she worked with. Now, this is what BP said. BP said the reason that they dismissed her was not because of her ethnic values, it's because she did not get along well with her teammates and colleagues, and that she regularly engaged in bullying and aggressive behavior towards other employees.
Because they were talking shit about her damn clothes and
But
hair.
wait, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
But on the flip side of that, that's what BP said. But now they're like, what the hell? That's not a true story, because she just got her recent evaluation, and it, quote, stated, Melfine is a people person. She engages her entire organization and is sincere in her desire to ensure all are valued and heard.
See, I was gonna try to play the devil's advocate.
Something ain't
What was your
no,
devil?
it doesn't exist anymore because they just proved that being devil's advocate is unnecessary and pointless and didn't make any sense because she was evaluated and told otherwise. She done pissed off somebody that's a bigwig that she probably spoke assertively to, and they got upset and were like, "Who is this Afro queen walking around here with a dashiki on?" Damn it. That's all I have to say.
And bullying has become such a popular word too.
Over it. You're a grown up. You cannot be bullied. Walk away. Nobody can bully you if you're a grown up. Walk the hell away. Get off your phone. Don't look at your Instagrams. Don't look at your kids too. But kids, at least you have some protection because you should have parents. But if you're a grown up, you cannot be bullied. Walk away. That's my opinion. Second, what the hell is ethnic hair? Is this ethnic hair? Because it's not bone straight? I would like to understand and know what that means.
Listen.
Because it looks to me like she has a freaking crew cut, like a close cut hairstyle. So.
Well, I mean, if I'm assuming that there was a point in time where she was wearing cornrows or whatever.
So okay, so the braiding is a problem.
But here's that weird fine
But then
line.
y'all would be mad if she was walking around looking like buckwheat with it all over the place. But she braided it up, trying to make it look neat, and you have a problem with that too.
Well, it's the unfortunate thing is that what it boils down to is the white standard of
what is
beauty
acceptable
and what is not, and
what
that's
is
why it's that
norm.
fine line. Is there a different rule for black people? I mean, you know,
I can't stop
I get
how
it that
the
you have
hair
to be
grows
groomed.
out of my head.
I get that you have to be groomed. There's certain corporations that men can have beards. They can have mustaches. But this is a ethnic thing. So where does it fall? Like if you're Muslim, are you not allowed to wear your...
If you're a beautiful Indian woman and your hair grows to your butt, are you supposed to cut your hair up to your ears because that's less ethnic?
Your hair's too long. It's
too long and shiny and beautiful.
It's
You need to cut that. It's too ethnic.
It's intimidating.
That makes no sense. BP, I hope you have to pay her a whole lot of money.
And my
Well-
thing is like BP, y'all been in so much ish in the past few years. Like, really?
Girl, get your money.
This what you gonna go after?
I believe that she's probably gonna. If I have to predict, she's probably gonna win
Yeah.
something.
I was trying to be like, oh, we should see the court paperwork. Maybe she was wearing, like, she's supposed to wear suits, and then
Yeah.
she was wearing a dashiki on a suit day, because maybe on, casual Fridays when
Okay,
you
well,
can wear
yeah,
whatever.
that's different, yeah.
I'm guessing, though, it sounds like she probably was on casual Friday, and her version of casual was her, like, dashiki and some jeans and some cornrows, and they were upset about that.
Right.
And that's not cool.
Well, there's a couple other cases that were similar to Melfine's. A TV meteorologist, Rhonda Lee, was fired from her job because of Facebook comments made about her hair from a viewer, and she commented back to the viewer in 2012 and was fired in Shreveport, Louisiana. Farron Johnson, a black employee, was fired from Hooters in Maryland because she had a blonde streak in her hair, and they didn't want her to have a blonde streak in her hair, so they fired her. That just happened in October, around October 2013. And the last one, which happened this year, was a black teen at the age of 13. Her name is Vanessa Van Dyke. She was asked to cut her natural afro fro, or she would be expelled from her Faith Christian Academy in Orlando, Florida. So this is something that is happening across the nation.
I mean, I know it's a fine line because, like hair colors and things like that, and like the girl with the school, like the rules for the school where it can't be distracting. And if the kids are like talking about it and messing with it, it does become a distraction in classroom. I'm not okay with them telling that girl she had to cut her hair or get expelled from school, because that's not her fault that other kids can't behave themselves. But at least there's some level of understanding that whatever.
Well, okay, so
Black people.
that's where I would say it's still a fine line. I don't agree with what happened to Melfine with BP, but this is where the fine line is if that's the case, then if Jesse wants to come and work, he works at IBM or JP Morgan, and he wants to sport purple hair because after work he's a rock star or plays in a rock band, is he going to be allowed to be able to do that and then go to meetings with purple hair? If I want to wear a dashiki every day, can I wear a dashiki every day? If a Muslim wants to wear their garment every day, can they wear? I mean, where is the fine line? Like, is this going to open up something else?
Well, that's why those rules in general open up the world to everything, because it opens up people to subjective judgment. So, but the problem I have with this specifically is an ethnic thing.
Yeah, this is right.
Hair color and things like that are things that people do to themselves. Like, I can't help how the hair grows out of my head.
Very true.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't help that my face is brown and yours is white. Like,
But okay.
there's
Now,
certain
But if you're gonna
things-
rock a 15-foot fro to work, is that? And that's your choice. Is that okay? Is that acceptable?
But that's not a choice. That's how I wake up in the morning, and that's how my hair is. I can brush it for you, but it's still going to be out there. So that's why I have an issue with it, because you're telling me that what is groomed is not what I am able to necessarily accomplish without extra effort that
and by you, Courtney does not mean me.
that the white girls don't have to do.
She means white people. At BP.
It's not fair, and I get it, but it's
I
not
get
gonna
it. It's
ever
not
be
fair.
fair.
It's not going to be fair. I think it's going to have to be where they are so specific with what the rules are.
If you are African American, you are allowed to wear braids, because a white girl could put French braids in her hair and it's fine. Why I can't have cornrows? Because it makes me look like a thug.
I was going to say, it goes back to the media association, to hip-hop and cultural things.
That's why it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, honestly, it's really, we're talking about something, it's a patch of racism at the end of the day.
That's not even a patch. It's full racism.
It's full racism.
Well, no, meaning like this goes on. You gave four different
examples.
I mean, there's
right.
tons of different examples of
Yeah.
it, but they're patches of racism. Is it to blame all of BP for it? No, but I mean the people that are directly in contact with this, and the fact that BP even tried to cover it up or do whatever they tried to do is like really. I mean, this is basic shit here.
Right.
Like, get it together. It's
The
2013.
The one thing I will say to that is, Delphine, get your money. And
Get your money.
secondly, I still understand that if you want to progress in certain environments, you conform to those environments. So
Sure.
I'm not the crazy person out there like, I should be able to do whatever I want.
Well, that's why I was asking the fine line.
I recognize that, but she doesn't want to have to conform. So and I think BP owes her money for that.
Because my thing is, it would be different if they said,
Unless it was stated at the beginning.
the ethnic style of clothing she wore was not our sense of professional. You know,
Right.
if they wanted to go around that realm of, you know, we expect our employees to wear, you know,
Black and blue suits.
right.
That is what
Fine.
is acceptable.
That's not what you're saying.
Right.
It was intimidating to people who I work with. First of all, why are they even looking at me? I'm working.
That's because you're black and you're tall, and she's probably assertive, and she got natural hair, so
Mm-hmm.
they obviously automatically assume that you're militant on some level or some sort of crazy feminist when you
Yes.
have natural hair right now, because
Man,
that's
it's
what
annoying.
freaking whatever you want to call it is around being black and a woman and having natural hair and celebrating your Africanness.
I might get a lot of hate for saying something from the booth here for this.
You might not want to say
You
it.
might not want to
Stephen.
say it, Steven. Not today.
I agree with you guys, actually. I do agree with you in this
Don't
case.
lie.
yeah, he changed that real quick.
No,
He
no,
was
no,
gonna
no.
say something polar opposite. No, I'm just
I agree
playing.
with you guys in this case, but I feel like it needs to be, if they're going to make it like that, they need to phrase it in a way that prevents other people who are doing things that are intimidating with their hairstyles and things like that. Because at the same time we make this point, somebody could go into work with a Hitler-style hairdo and a Hitler-style mustache and say they're a skinhead and that's part of their culture. I mean, people can say that, and that would be where the argument could be made. And I'm not saying people are doing that, but if you're going to put it as an ethnic thing, that's a culture. And something like that could be used in the wrong ways against bosses for people to unlawfully sue their employers. Not saying she's doing that, because I think she definitely has a case in this circumstance.
I agree with what you're saying.
I think
But
that's
why I said once again it goes back to it's a fine line. between the
It's
two.
a fine line, but it's really hard to use that, like, especially that example, because yes, you can say it's a part of your culture to like celebrate Hitler and do all of that, but that is specifically a culture of hate directed directly towards somebody else. Me just existing as a black
As a
woman
black
in my
woman, you're
natural state
dashiki,
is
yeah.
not a.
Dashikis are not intimidating.
They're not, like, it's not in the same vein, like, and that's what sucks, is because they're trying to put what you exist as a natural human being in the same category as somebody that is into the drug culture and punk rock and wants to do crazy things to their hair, like, and piercings and that. Like, it's like you're trying to put us all in those categories as if it's something that I'm selecting to exist as. I'm not selecting to exist as a coarse-haired black girl.
But when you're putting what you exist as into a law, the wording has to be seriously fine detail, or people will take advantage of any loophole they can find.
Agreed.
Well, people are going to do that regardless.
But even putting that into law turns it into like legalized prejudice, and I just can't. Like, that's segregation and separate but equal bullshit again. Like, I can't.
But being a skinhead isn't it's not an ethnicity. It's not.
It's not an
That's what
ethnicity.
I'm saying. It's a culture, but it's not like who you are. Whatever. I'm done.
I was just giving you a far out example. I wasn't.
Yeah.
No,
No, that's all
I agree,
good.
and that's what I'm saying, because it's really hard to find another example. Like, I mean, you would have to literally like think of other ethnic groups. Like, can
Like
you
if an
not have
Asian
narrow
came
eyes
in
as
with
an
a kimono.
Asian? Like,
If she came in with a kimono, like.
Can a guy from Scotland wear his skirt every day
I'm
to
not
work?
tripping off the clothes thing. I'm tripping off the hair thing much more,
Yeah.
because that's something that you don't select. Like, it is what it is. I can manipulate it, yes, but do I have to manipulate mine when nobody else has to manipulate theirs?
Right. Well, at the end of the day, it's a deep-rooted, I hate to say it, but it's a deep-rooted racism towards white standards with the rest of the world. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Because we have to change
Stephen, get your
our
cousins.
look.
Get
to-
your cousins.
You're right, get your cousins.
Go
We
get
have to
your
change our
cousins.
looks to
That's racist.
be in the culture. All right. Well,
Get all them Lemieux.
if you guys want to tweet us about any of those stories, we'd like to hear what you have to say about it as well.
Beyonce released an album.
Beyonce released an album.
There's good news
She
in the
did.
world.
There's good news in the world. Rashida Jones thinks women show too much of their vaginas. And yeah, those are great things.
But all that matters is Beyonce released.
But all that matters is Beyonce in the world.
And I'm about to be damned.
And Eddie Murphy's doing Beverly Hills Cop 4. That's right. All right, where can people find you, Courtney?
Equate that to Beyonce releasing an album.
I don't.
I'm just.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stuart Starlet, and I will be listening to Beyonce on the 405.
Jesse?
And you can find me at DJ Jesse J, and I'll be listening to Beyonce on the 101.
You can find me at Daryl Kristen on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and I will not be
He'll be
listening
hating
to
on
Beyonce. I will not be
Beyonce.
hating. I'm not a Beyonce hater. Not
I
a
just
hater.
want the Beehive to come at you.
I'm
on
not a
Twitter.
hater. I just probably won't be listening to that on my drive home. But What I would like you to do is go vote for next week's buzzer meter question, which is, do you think sexuality in music is going too far? I think we've given examples on several sides. We'd like to hear what you guys have to say, and we'll read those results next week. Be sure to, actually, we won't be reading them next week. I just thought about that. We won't be reading them till next year, 2014.
So y'all got like 3 weeks to
You got 3 weeks to decide and listen to Beyonce's
conversation
album.
on Twitter. Talk about sex.
You have 3 weeks to buy Beyonce's new album and look at all her videos.
And also tweet us. Let us know what we should be talking about, so when we come back in the studio, we hit those topics as well.
Hell yeah.
But thank you for listening. And
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, and we will see you soon.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Dario Kristen, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network. If you have questions or comments, tweet us at BHL Online or email us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. For more exclusive content, visit blackhollywoodlive.com. This has been a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.